Hey everyone, and welcome back. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. Basically, I want to take a look at the year that just ended and talk about some things here that happened on the channel, and also maybe where I see us going in 2024. Now, I just want to say this is my third time trying to record this video, so I did want it out a couple of days earlier, but the versions of the videos that I recorded previously, they always turned out, I felt, a little bit too negative, and I just want to point out this is not a negative video. There will be a negative part at the beginning to explain why I'm looking at 2024 like possibly a great year for the channel and why maybe 2023 wasn't so great. But at the same time, it will definitely end on a positive note. Now, today's video obviously is more going to be about things surrounding the channel and things that I'm looking forward to in 2024. So obviously, if you're here for like a scoop on the Nintendo Switch or something like that, that will not be today's video. However, if you like background information on the channel, well then definitely today stick around because we're going to talk a lot about what happened on the personal side for me in 2023 and why I think, as I said earlier, 2024 is most likely going to be a much better year. Now, probably the best place to start is just to clarify that I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I have a full-time 40-hour-a-week job, and I do this as a, on the side. So when I'm going to talk at points of, running out of time, that's because I have to juggle that with the fact that, well, I also have 4 kids, 3 of which are still at home. And for anyone who's a parent out there, you know that unfortunately, your time always comes second. I also do want to say, I'm not saying 2023 was a bad year. It just maybe wasn't the year I envisioned when the year started out. And views are up, subscribers are up, everything is still pointing very positively. I just envisioned something different for the year, and I envisioned a lot of projects that didn't get completed for various reasons that we're going to get into. And basically, I'm hoping that in 2024, just things take a better turn and resemble more the previous years where I could put a lot of time into the channel and get a better consistency. Now, basically, I've always been a person on YouTube. If you've been watching the channel since before, I would say the first 3 months of 2023, I was extremely consistent. You would get 2 videos a week, every week, all the time, almost on the same days. Like one was Wednesday, one was Saturday or Friday, and they would come out like clockwork. Now, if you've been following the channel since, I would say, midpoint through 2023, it hasn't exactly been as regular as usual. And for me, that's something that really has annoyed me a ton, because I'm generally a very, very consistent person. I like to set myself a goal, achieve that goal, and unfortunately, I've had multiple setbacks. So now's the part of the video where I'm going to dive into just, it's not an excuse, but it's to explain what happened in 2023 that sort of derailed things a little bit on the channel. And that most of what I'm going to talk about is actually due to factors coming from me. So I'm not like trying to blame anyone or anything. It's just the reality of what happened. So first of all, in early 2023, what the first challenge I had was that although I still work for the same company and I still do the same job, I'm now in charge of a different part of the job that I used to do in the past and I had walked away from a couple of years. Getting back into it, I needed a couple of months to sort of, get back into the, the beat of things and get things, under control. So obviously when that happened around March, April, May, things slowed down a lot because I was focusing on my 9 to 5. I have no choice. That's where, everything gets, most of everything comes from. So I had to focus on that. Now that alone, I would have said would have been something very easy to brush over. And within a couple of months, like I said, it got back to no longer an issue. But then unfortunately, one of the more negative things of the year happened. My mother-in-law was diagnosed with lymphoma. So if you have a family member who has lymphoma, there are a lot of doctor's appointments. There are a lot of appointments. There's chemotherapy. There's various appointments. And I mean, we're talking like 2 or 3 a week, where you have to go to the hospital, often spend hours there, come back. So unfortunately, you know, that took a lot of time because we are my mother-in-law's main support system. She's an elderly woman. She doesn't drive anymore. So me and my wife are her main support system. My wife is an only child. And you know what? Kudos to her, because I've got to say she did most of the heavy lifting as well. However, what that did is that, I have to take care of the kids when she's not there. And normally a lot of the time where she would sort of like handle things so that I could record and do the videos and work on them and prep them, well, that time just wasn't there anymore. So just when sort of I got a handle on, okay, I switched jobs, this hits us. And, I said this would be a positive video. I just want to very, very gladly let you all know she is now in full remission for the moment. I mean, you're never 100% out of the woods, but about a month ago, or 3 weeks to a month ago, we found out she's in full remission. So super positive vibes, which is why I pointed to at the beginning of the video. I'm hoping that 2024 is a much better year. After that, unfortunately, so basically already at that point, time was lacking. However, I kept doing the videos, however, with a lot less consistency. So there would be, 4 days between videos instead of 3. There would be all side projects, all reviews, all non-essential videos were just like put aside. And I was focusing primarily on the deals and like if any huge news hit the Nintendo Switch, and keeping a consistent streaming schedule. And you know what? It worked out. In the end, like I said, the channel didn't die. Nothing negative happened, but it definitely hurt. And then basically, once we sort of got the schedule worked out, well, I got hit with another bomb around August to September. One of my close family members, my great aunt, so my grandmother's sister, and just so you know, I was raised 50% in my grandma's house, and she's lived with my grandma her whole life. So I've always said I have like 3 moms. I have my real mom, my natural mother. I have my grandma, and I have my aunt. She was hospitalized and almost didn't make it. She has problems with circulation in her legs. And just to be honest, things on that end haven't gotten much better. Okay. She is out of the immediate danger zone where she was, where I really, really thought, we really thought at one point we were going to lose her. And the doctors were saying that as well. But, she made what for her age would be called almost a miracle recovery. And, yeah, things started looking slightly better, but she's 89 years old. Things are not going to be 100% better. And unfortunately, this week she has had one of her legs amputated. So that is the one thing I would say that in 2024 will remain as a challenge, because nonetheless, she's in an institution where to visit her, it's an hour there, hour back. You spend time with her an hour or two. It eats 4 hours of time, and it's not like an excuse. And I want to go see her. You understand? Like, it's just an explanation that this sucks a lot of the time I used to have for the channel. But now with my job clearing up, my mother-in-law, that's why I'm looking positively on 2024. Because if that's the only thing left, I do think the consistency in the channel will be back. The energy that I have to make the videos will be back. And I mean, I think a lot of you out there maybe didn't even notice the lack of consistency. So this is really like an inner thing maybe, but it also did slow down the views and the subscriptions from where things were going. But that was, I would say, the 3 major challenges I had that seriously affected the schedule. And even though I love YouTube, it's, it always has to be family first. So, these are things I couldn't set aside, and anyway, I don't think any of you would have expected me to. I wouldn't be the person I am if I did. And those were the major challenges that hurt the channel in 2023. Those are the things from the personal side. Now we're going to talk about the Switch, because I said at the beginning of the video too, I did want to talk a little bit about where we're going in 2024. And I do think there's things that affect the channel. And this is maybe the more interesting part of the video for all of you out there that didn't want to necessarily talk about my personal life, is there's things happening that maybe you haven't noticed on YouTube and on most social media regarding the Switch. Now, first of all, I'm going to say it, 2023, if we're talking about game releases, was an amazing year for that. However, if we're talking about social media and YouTube in particular, 2023 is a year where things are really slowing down for the Switch. You know, the way social media and YouTube works is it's all around the hype. And unfortunately, at this point in the life cycle, the hype for the Switch is going down. The hype is still there for big games, Tears of the Kingdom, Sea of Stars, Dredge, just to name a few. The hype is there around those games, but outside of those games, the general hype where just putting the word Nintendo Switch in a video would almost get you automatically more views than if it wasn't there, isn't as present as before. But it's normal. That's the normal cycle. And that's why I really, really hope we get a new system in 2024, because that's what's going to put the hype back on the upswing. So without extra effort, 2024 was always going to be 2023, was always going to be a slower year than the previous years, because we were moving out of that hype cycle. And I didn't even talk about the Game Awards, but I watched the whole Game Awards, and originally I wanted to make content around it, but we really didn't get, there were awards that Switch games won, but if we're talking about the trailers and everything around it, there was really almost nothing for the Switch. And that shows you what I'm talking about, why we need a new console in 2024 to help get that hype back up for Nintendo products and the Nintendo Switch. Because even if the games are doing well, the general sort of hype around just the console itself is dying down. Most people that have a Switch, want a Switch, have one, and basically, and most people even have 2 or 3 Switches, to be honest, that will really, really want them. Now, basically, what really disappointed me is that I've never expected the big AAA games to come out on Switch. We all know it's a console that, if you compare it to the other two, is underpowered. However, I always knew that high-quality indie games were coming to the Switch. And you know what? For the first time in the Game Awards, there were some really great high-quality indie games that would fit in perfectly with the Switch's audience, that didn't have that little coming to Switch symbol at the end of trailers. And that's most likely because even at this point, not only the AAA games, but the high-quality indie developers are developing games that most likely don't perform well on the current Switch we have. Now, those trailers could be amended. Those developers might already know that a Switch 2 is coming out, and that little Switch 2 symbol might be added to the trailer later on, because obviously you can't do it now or you would just break the internet. But we're in a position now as fans of the Switch, because I imagine if you're watching this video, and especially if you're at this point in the video, you must be a Switch fan. Because to sit through all the personal stuff to get to the Switch section, you gotta be. We need something new hardware-wise. And we need something that can run the future of the indie gaming industry and even net us a few of those mainstream titles that can work on the Switch. Because that's what made the Switch the success it is today. When it came out, we were getting ports, or we were getting versions of games that were available on other systems, sure, that were visual downgrades, but still ran well on the system. And gave you a chance to play in a portable factor, which wasn't offered in the other consoles. And I think that if we don't get a new Switch 2 announced, at least at the beginning of 2024, maybe not released at the beginning, but at least announced for the beginning, like I would say first 6 months of 2024, we are going to have to see multiple awesome indie games release that just won't be available on our favorite console. And that would be sad times for me. And I hope Nintendo knows this. They have to know this. And I hope they don't go too crazy with their next console. Just give us a really solid successor to the Nintendo Switch. A more powerful console based on the same concept. Throw in one little new gadget or one fun little thing you guys want to play around with. But give us a good successor. That is sort of my message, and that is why I think 2024 is going to be an awesome year for the channel. Because number one, like I said earlier, most of the personal stuff cleared up, and I'm really, really hoping we don't get any more bombs on the personal side in the next little while. We've had a lot. Let's just have some happy times. And number two, I really, really think we are getting a new console this year. And I think that's going to be the secret to getting the hype train back up there for Nintendo products in general, without just focusing on the next Zelda, the next Mario, but really just in general being excited for the new games coming out. Now, this video, I'm looking at the timer and it went on for way, way longer than I was originally expecting. I don't think a lot of people are going to watch this video, but nonetheless, I really wanted to make it for those people that have a vested interest in the channel and that enjoy maybe talking other stuff, more stuff around like the personal side of the channel. I do hope mid-year, by the way, I've said it on stream multiple times, to finally be able to cut down my 40-hour-a-week schedule and actually shift that time over to official Nintendo Switch time, like production time for YouTube, meaning that I would not be like not just a YouTube on the side, but a part-time YouTuber, if we could call it that. That is my dream for 2024. And, just for the channel to keep growing and things get back on pace and me be happy and be able to do some different content from time to time, like this video. Now, by the way, we're probably not going to do these talking head videos very often. Most likely, maybe not even till next new year. But nonetheless, it is fun from time to time to try something new. I still want to do some of the Lego stuff from time to time, more around the gaming stuff all the time, But I think fun times are coming. I have a lot of great reviews coming up on hardware as well. So controllers, headsets, whatnot. I want to get back into the swing of things of doing regular indie reviews and regular game reviews, even maybe AAAs from time to time. And really get that eSHOP deal schedule back on track. So hopefully, if any of you are still around there, you enjoyed nonetheless a little background information on the channel, knowing where I see things going for 2024. And I want to thank all of you for watching the videos, whether you watch them from time to time, whether you only, tune in once a week, whatnot. Thank you so much for watching the channel and making my pastime become one of the funnest things I've ever done in my life. And you know what? Just as usual, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, click the notification bell so you know when all the future videos are coming out. And I hope I'll see you in my next video.